This video covers how we can go about solving or internalizing an externality. So up until this point, we've defined what a negative externality is. That is, it's a cost imposed on a third party. And we've outlined why it is that markets would leave us at QM, but society would be better off if we were at this solution of QO. That would be the socially optimal quantity. Now this example could be covered using deforestation as an example, or any good that creates pollution. We'll be focusing here on deforestation. And there's three solutions, or three possible ways that we could go about getting from QM to QO. Solution number one focuses on costs. Solution number one would aim to make deforestation more expensive. That means we'd be coming at this from the cost side. We'd want to shift the marginal private cost curve up by the amount of that externality. Notice here that that will leave us at QO. There's two different types of policies that can do this. One is taxes. That means that we would have a tax on each unit of deforestation. So the landowner in this case would then have to think about those external costs every time that they decided to deforest. Each additional unit would come at an additional cost. Permits do the same thing. These are also called marketable pollution permits, allowances, or quotas. What they do is also put a price. Each landowner would have a certain number that they could use and or trade with others. The point of them is that they, though, would make it such that the landowner would be thinking about the cost of each unit deforested, because they would have the choice to use that allowance. They could sell it, or they could buy allowance from somebody else. Solution number two comes at this from the other side. Solution number two aims to affect the marginal benefits, that is, reduce the relative benefits that can be gained from deforestation. The purpose of this policy will be to shift the marginal benefit curve. And if we shift that curve by the amount of the externality, we end up at QO. That would be, we would shift the curve from that MB1 to the lower marginal benefit curve labeled MB2. So the policy intervention examples include support for markets that rely on standing forests. That means that we would create markets for goods that would be native and indigenous fruits and nuts and other things that could be grown within the forest, rather than relying on crops and cattle that rely on cleared forest. Another type of policy intervention that would fit in this category is promoting urban development. That is, pulling benefits from the forests and creating a labor force that is not reliant upon clearing of the forest. Finally, solution number three focuses on setting a limit for deforestation and or making deforestation illegal. So if we were to set a limit on deforestation, and we are aiming for that target of QO, we could set a limit and make it illegal for landowners to deforest anything past that point. And that is what we do see in the Brazilian Amazon now. There's a forest code that limits the amount of legal deforestation on each private property to no more than 20% of the property. So this type of policy intervention is called a standard. It's also known as command and control regulation. So to summarize, solution number one focuses on increasing the cost of deforestation. That is, shifting the marginal private cost curve, and the policy interventions that do this include taxes and permits. Solution number two focuses on decreasing the relative benefits from deforestation, and that is shifting the marginal benefit curve. And two of the policy interventions that fit in this category include supporting markets that rely on standing forests and promoting urban development. Although there's a caveat with those, it could be that those end up in higher levels of deforestation. And solution number 3 focuses on mandating a limit. This solution doesn't shift either curve, and the policy intervention refers to standards, or what's also known as command and control regulation.